Okay, and we're rolling. Right, we have a Iveco. Let me just get the model right. 50C14. Therefore, it's a 5-tonner. Let me just see if the weight plate's in here. No, it's not. But here we go. Let's get the exact gross vehicle weight. That's that. Right. There you go. There's the chassis number right at the top, and it is 5.2 tons gross vehicle weight. Wheelbase 3.3. Well, instead of measuring it, I probably should have just looked at that. Right, let's just go over to my sheet a sec. Right, this is the 3-litre chain driven, so you're not going to be replacing the belt or chain as frequently as you would do with a belt. Probably worded that very, very poorly. The 3-litre is a very good engine. I mean, Iveco are known to be some of the best engine builders about. I would argue that the 2.8 is better, but that is belt driven, so if you like the chain and you feel a bit more confident driving around with a chain driven engine, you can't really go wrong with a 3-litre Iveco engine. Right, let's have a quick look at the bodywork. Can't really see the screen on this GoPro right now. There we go. It's very, very tidy, very clean. I mean, there's very few amounts of area to note, so I will actually just note these. Right there, we've got a bit of damage and a bit of corrosion just there. These things here, those up there, and those things here, they would have been for an awning that unfortunately has been removed before I got it. Rear loading step. Anything to note this side, I will note it. It's remarkably clean. Right, first thing I noticed was whoever decommissioned this vehicle by BT must have really liked the night eater, because although they've left the system in here, including the fuel pump and everything, they've removed the unit which was actually stowed onto the chassis, which is fairly unusual. A lot of times they're integrated into the van itself inside, but that means I've jotted it down as having half a night eater, because you know, all it really needs is the unit to go back in. The hard part's been done, feeding into the fuel tank, etc. Let me just go into the cab a sec. Right, I've had very, very few Ivecos in the past that have had this level of spec on the inside. I mean, twin armrests, which I suppose is fairly minor, but crucially, it's got in-cab air conditioning, and it's got its very own Telair air conditioning roof-mounted unit. Another thing that was quite rare I found was the cruise control. You do not find that on many at all, although it is fairly easy to install if you don't have it on your Iveco. The engine sounds absolutely perfect. Let's just switch her on. So that's 107,000 kilometers, which I work to be 66,885 miles. So arguably very, very low mileage. Right. It starts up very well. Just get that out of the way. So show this to your mechanics, or if you're interested in the van, before heading over here, see what you think. But for me, that sounds absolutely perfect. Give her a bit of a rev. Just clearing it straight there a bit on the exhaust. Right, I'll knock it off because it might be a bit loud. Battery isolator there, so when you come to finish with the van, knock that and then you will save the battery. Over here, I'm still yet to work out how to use all this, but I have tried it. If you turn that off there, like that, that does isolate the battery. I'm assuming that was for all the equipment and stuff in the back, tech start, vehicle start, so right, that's the immobiliser going there. Let's get this right. Tyre condition. I've gone around the tyres. They're all very, very good. There's a brand new spare stowed by there. Let's just nip around. Brand new spare stowed just here. It's even got all the details you'll need if you wanted to get some more tyres in the future. So that's Cooper tyres. Right. Get my sheet of paper again. Side handle broken, and it is in the back, but it's going to need a new unit. I have put that on the remarks or items to replace. MOT 31st of October 2010, so that was 2020, that was done before I got it. The overall length, which actually says it up there, is 19 foot, which is in meters, 6.1 meters. Alright, let's just head into the back a sec. Alright, this is where, for those thinking of converting, which I imagine the majority of people watching this video will have that in mind, you've got an Omni step down there, which I've never ever had one before. Never had that brand of step. The button's just there to let it out, but as I'll show you in a second, it's been decommissioned in a particular way that nothing that I've tried actually works in the back. So you'll see now that, let's just tap the screen, look at all this stuff here. A lot of equipment's been in the back of here, and I guess that's why they've needed the air conditioning unit there and the various extractor fans that are in here as well, to cool down the technology or whatever has been used in the back. Little table here, you could maybe use that again somewhere. That's where the diesel night heater was, just down there, so that's where it would have let its heat out of. Various 240 plugs the whole way around. If it was wired up, or I haven't even tried it with a battery yet, who knows. If I put a battery on where the auxiliary battery should be, maybe all this stuff's going to work, all these LED lightings and stuff like that. There's various bits of technology in here which, who knows, could be used on a future project. There's really that much stuff in the back of here that, you know, I don't really know where to start. That's where these Ivecos usually get a bit of corrosion down here. This one has somehow managed to avoid getting any at all. Just jump in the back. These tables here, I don't know what was on top of it, maybe just a bit of wood or something. They've taken those with them. Maybe you could use that again for something. In here, with the new legislation of requiring 2 windows on the side, maybe that might be the easiest option of putting a window in just there. Yeah, so alright, also it's got a little bit of insulation that you could use again, but in my opinion not suffice really for a decent camper conversion. But you could certainly use it, and a lot of the framing and everything else in here you could use into the future use of the vehicle. Once again, you've got extraction fans and cooling fans and stuff like that just around here. But there's so much technology in this van, and I'm so ignorant towards what it is. If you pause the video when you see a bit, and if you can read off the names of the stuff, maybe you could check out what they are, what they could be used for, or indeed what you could sell them for on eBay or something like that. But yeah, I mean, medium wheelbase, high roof. It meets a lot of the criteria for the new DVLA camper conversion thing. I mean, all they require is actually an awning bar as well. Awning bar? Well, I've got the wording wrong there. You don't actually need an awning, but as long as you've got the things on the side to look like it could have an awning on it, that meets the criteria. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anything. By the way, it's in very, very good mechanical condition. Just a quick one about the measurements. So the internal, what I do here is I do the bulkhead, which would have been here, or in this one I've done the back of the rear seats to the right back of the van, which is 3.7 meters. The internal height is 1.9 meters, and for some reason I've got width 1.6, which would have been measured from just there to just there, and obviously it'd be a bit wider if you ripped everything out. But you would be insulating stuff anyway. But yeah, you could use a lot of the stuff that's in the back of here, but at the same time you'd want to be ripping a lot of this stuff out. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you've got a better idea of this vehicle, what it is and what it has and what it isn't. And if you want any more information, just give me a shout. Just briefly watching that back, I've missed out some pretty crucial parts if you're going to be travelling a long way to have a look at this van. That is the underneath condition. So let's have a quick look, shall we? you could have done with a torch or something, I guess. It is exceptionally clean underneath the van. It could do with a good wash. I gave it a very quick one. I mean, you've got things like where the BT logo and stuff has been de-stick and you've got a little bit of excess glue and things like that. This really wants a machine polish to bring it up like new again. Let's have a quick look under here. Is that showing it? Yeah. Right. Sills. Right. Under the bonnet then. Surface rest, but oftentimes like that. Oftentimes on a vehicle, what's this, 56, either 2007 or 2006, you know, they are usually quite corroded there, but this one is in good condition. Right, I'm not sure how good of a video this is going to be, but hopefully it's giving you a little bit better idea of what this is. I really like the van. I have to say I've never had anything quite like this before. I hope you liked the video, I hope it was helpful.